you something I don't understand. You said you love me, and that's a fact, and then you left me. Hello there, Tony Medley once again, and a nice warm welcome back to my workshop. Today's project has come from a little bit of inspiration when I made a segmented laced up vase not so long ago, probably within the last two videos. I want to do a zip vase this time. I've got a nice piece of sapele here which I'm going to cut down, get it into the lathe, get it rounded off, and then I'll make up a series of rings, probably 10 rings made from sapele and maple. And then we'll cut the zip into it. As the same as before, I'm going to put a solid sapele ring on the top. I just think it set it off, but we'll put the zip in it this time. So we'll get started. But if you just a little taster of things to come. If you remember rightly, 2 or 3 videos ago, I bought some red Marley bear, and I was severely criticised by a number of people, and I've been told it's definitely red Mallee bear. Well, I was that impressed with it, I got straight back in touch with Oliver's Woodturning, and I bought another 2. I've treated myself. So the first one I've got, which is a red Bimblebox bear, native from Australia. It's got this wing on it which is very, very thin, if you can see that, but hopefully I'll be able to take this little bit of part off here, get a chucking point on here. I'm going to glue a chucking point onto this side just to get it started and get it levelled off, so we can keep as much as we can of this lovely natural bear. So like I say, that's for a future. What I also got was this lovely red coalabar bear, and I hope that I've pronounced that one right. This is definitely another native species to Australia, and like I say, I'm not so sure on this one whether we can just take a little bit off and leave the natural edge, or whether to make a perfect ball out of it. I'm not sure yet, but it would be criminal to take that off, wouldn't it, to be perfectly honest. So that is the red coalabar bear, and hope I pronounced that right. I'm sure somebody will let me know if I haven't, but can't wait to get these started. So anyway, without further ado, we'll get cracking on the segmented vase. Sorry, almost forgot there. Just before we get started on today's project, I've just got a couple of shout outs. The first one, John Clothier, I'm sure you're already subscribed, but if you aren't, I'm advising people to go to his channel. I think you'd be pleasantly surprised. He's really got some great ideas, good at gold leaf, and does a lot of resin. Absolutely superb. I'll put a link to his channel in the description box, so go along and support him. I'm sure you're already subscribed at the moment, but just check his channel out if you haven't. The next one is Dave the Walsall Woodturner. Another one, great guy, tries to be helpful, makes some fantastic things. So exactly the same, I'll put a link to his channel, pop across and subscribe. What I forgot to mention in the introduction was I'm going to make it again from my favourite, which is sapele and maple. This one's not so white. It's a little bit of spalting in it, and it's a little bit marked, but the grain on it is absolutely great. So we'll do with that. But as I always say, what you must do is always put a wavy line down one side and a straight line down the other, and that's every time that you do any segmenting. You must do that. It's so important, just in case your blade's out, and I guarantee you your blade will be out very, very slightly. So I can't stress enough the importance of that, or you'll just end up with gaps. What I forgot to say was we're going to do 10 rings, but 7 of them we're going to do 42 millimeters wide for the first 7, because it's wide enough to get the shape of it. And then obviously we'll go from the 42, one ring of 45, and then the dark ring, or the Sapele ring on the top, will go to 47 millimeters. Said this many a time before, but I'll go through it again. You do the first cut on number 1, second cut on number 2, third cut back on number 1, and the fourth cut back onto number 2. I'm so sorry that I have to keep repeating myself, but there is some people who didn't see other videos of me segmenting. So it's most important that that's the angle that we've cut on the sword, not to do that. And all we're going to take off is the fuzzies. So all you're doing is just the physical ends. And if you do need to take it off that one, as long as you don't take anything off that angle, then we're absolutely fine. What we need is, because we're doing a 10-piece ring, we need 5 with the lines on that side and 5 without the line. It's on the back, and we'll make it up into a ring, and then obviously before we glue it up, then we'll glue them up. Right, I've put it together. You can actually see that there is no gaps whatsoever on the segments themselves, and as you can see, the white ones, or the maple ones, have the line, and the Sapele ones don't have it. They have it on the back. On the next ring that you do, it'll be the opposite, because obviously you're doing each time you cut it in the jig, it's going a different direction. So each time, just to keep the in case you've got a little bit of distortion on your blade, that you do them either side, and the wiggly line is always on one side. Right, here comes the fun part of gluing it up. It's one of my least favourite jobs, but it's just one of them things that has to be done. I always cover my clamp with a piece of cling film. I'd rather have glue on that than on my clamp. Right. I've already put these together, as I've explained before. You can see the different ones, the clear ones, the ones with a line on. Take it off, and it's ready for the glue now. Well, I've got it turned down to the shape that I want, and all it requires now is sanding down. I'm not going to show you the process because every time I go through the same procedure, all I'm going to do is sand it down to 240. Then I'm going to apply sand and sealer, then Yorkshire grit, then a high gloss wax, and I always do the high gloss wax in 4 coats. And some people say, why do you have to put 4 coats on? I'll tell you the reason why. I put it on very, very sparingly, and I would prefer it to be built up over 4 coats, buffed to a nice shine, and another very, very thin coat than one big thick coat, because all you're doing is put it on and take it off. So that's the way that I prefer to do it. What I also do after that, I always put a coat of microcrystalline wax on, and that is purely just to save fingerprints, because people pick it up and admire it. What I will say is I always finish the bottom exactly the same way as I do the sides. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to come back to you once it's completed, or I've completed what I've just said there, and then I will concentrate on putting the zip in it. Well, as promised, I've got it all finished off. There's only the bottom to finish off. It needs a little bit of sanding, and the same procedure as what I did on the vessel itself. I think it's important that I show you how I put the zip in, because I don't think I've ever done that. So what we'll do first, we will start by using some masking tape and placing it on there. What I forgot to say there was, if you do have any inclusions, cracks or anything like that, it's always best to cut that out. That goes without saying that. But if you just cover it all with masking tape, and then we can mark it out. Today I'm using just a 3-inch zip, with it only being a shallow vessel. So what we do, we start off, and all we do is cut around the zip so you've got none of the material on. And you will end up with that. You've also got all the frayed pieces. What I always do is just run over it quickly, because this is nylon, with a lighter or a match, whichever you've got, and then obviously you don't melt the plastic zip itself. As I said, if you just get rid of all of those fibres with a little bit of flame, but careful not to damage the plastic. Now comes the hard part. All we need to do now is get it so that it's nice and vertical, and then draw around the zip itself. What you can also do, if you wanted to, you could put a piece of tape across that. Anything to help you. Now it's the worrying time to cut with the Dremel. Well, it's another one completed. This new maple what I've been purchasing is absolutely wonderful. It's got some lovely grain in it, dark mark should I say, but it's just absolutely wonderful. It was right on the edge. There is a little bit of spalting in it, things like that. So yes, it's rather nice. Makes a change from the lily white hard maple, but it's absolutely superb. Bottom's all finished off with the logo, the zip. Took a long time to do the zip, but you can't rush it, to be perfectly honest, because it just doesn't look right. Anyway, I'd like to thank everybody who's took the time to subscribe to my channel, and I really do appreciate it. All the lovely comments what I've been getting recently, absolutely superb. If you haven't already, please subscribe. It does mean a lot to me. Give me the thumbs up if you like what I'm doing. And I'd really appreciate it if you could share it on your social media so I can try and get a few more subscribers. Anyway, thanks very much, thanks for watching, and I'll catch up with you on the next video. Bye!